Greetings, 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 greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Appreciate everybody that tunes into the vault. Everybody, this is a huge episode. This is the vault episode 300. The debt is not real, anyways. Definitely looking forward to doing this episode. Very important episode, and I look forward to doing it for sure. So this is once again the Vault episode 300. The debt is not real, anyways. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live or listening to replay from. Always appreciate everybody that does that. So once again, this is the Vault. The debt is not real, anyways. And this was just a very important episode to really make it a point to launch and talk about because we're in the age where, people have seen the United States run up a debt of trillions of dollars. They surpassed the billions. They're in the trillions. They went past 10 trillion. They're 20 plus trillion in debt. So we're going to talk about it today. Once again, appreciate everybody for tuning in live from SoCal and the replay SoCal. We got Delaware tuning in live. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening from. Always appreciate that. We got Delaware tuning in live and listening in the replay. Yeah, appreciate California for tuning in live, listening to replay too. They say sunny California. So definitely wanted to do this episode talking about the debt is not real. We got Texas tuning in live, listening to replay. Shout out to Texas. So why do we have to do this episode? Because we're living in an age right now where the debt on the books is looking like it's artificial. It's looking like it can't go under. When you hear all of these successful entrepreneurs and investors that traditionally they read history, that's why they're so successful, is they utilize the same old time principles of leadership. They use the same old time principles of business to build all businesses. When all big businesses are on the stock market, it's for a reason. Because, and we're not going to say all big businesses, but when most big businesses are on the stock market, it's because for a reason. And it's so funny because even Tesla recently, uh, they literally just went on the stock market. They were trading and still weren't listed on an exchange. They just recently just got listed on the S&P 500. So when we talk about the debt is not real, anyways, we could talk about it from many different angles because the debt has turned into artificial mechanism of creation. It's turned into a creature, such as the money. The money's turned into a creature, and so in turn, it's turned into something that can die. And so when we see a lot of the older asset managers say that, that the house of cards that's been built on, quicksand, that hasn't really been built on strong ground, literally is going to come down. When people keep trying to call for a stock market crash, they're calling for this debt. They're calling for the debt to be reset, which we are seeing always happen. But we see markets continue to stay steady. Markets have stayed steady. They haven't necessarily declined, even after the pandemic when the markets were down because of just supply chains and things of that nature, things being shut down. Um, we're in a market where things are going to be very robust. But once again, the debt is not real, anyways, because we get so many people coming at us from so many different angles at the vault. Well, the debt, it's not real because it's just printed out of thin air. Ladies and gentlemen, money is a form of energy exchange. How is it not real? So money's real, but the debt is not real. And this is where we are, where people are talking about debt forgiveness programs, things of that nature. There's no money privilege program, but there's a debt forgiveness program. And these are the things that are making the debt not look real. Is the socialization of money, the socialization of money, where we even see this so called decentralization of money with these cryptocurrencies. So the cryptos, what are they going to claim? That there's no such thing as debt? Are they going to say there's no such thing as leverage? Are they going to say there's no such thing as hypothecation? Hypothecation has been a form of usury for hundreds of years. Now it's so-called archaic. It's not. valid. It's like saying that people weren't using gold and silver, and then chopping it up, and then later on not using gold and silver, but still utilizing what they call a dime or what they call a nickel, what they call a penny. That's not made out of copper anymore, or less copper is inside of it. So we see that, oh, well, the money is not real. So the money's not real because it's on paper. So the debt is not real, anyways. So the debt's not real, okay. But then we get into where people are living in a house right now off of what? Debt. They're living off of a debt. So if there's a student loan forgiveness program, is there a mortgage forgiveness program coming? Is there a debt forgiveness program coming for all debt? Probably not. So the debt is not real anymore. The debt is not real anyways, right? Is that what the people that have this high debt that are literally trying to abscond from a debt? They say it's not real. The debt is not real anyways. Oh, then we go into these vigilante societies. People say that, oh, the debt's not real. People are utilizing my birth certificate. They're utilizing my social security number, and they're creating debt off of that. If it wasn't for me, there would be no United States. If there was no me, there would be no reason to have a debt in a society. Because when you're born, they issue money into the society. Why? Because there has to be some form of payment to pay for you. See, it's a prepayment. People, oh, we're going to quote 1933 or 1930, whatever they're going to quote for HJR 192. We're going to quote HJR 192. And then we're going to see, people want to throw out these arbitrary laws. You go read it, and then you see that there was a Gold and Silver Confiscation Act. But they don't tell you that. They said that in the 80s that, oh, we're not going to collect specific ones. We're gonna still have a law that says it's illegal to hoard gold and silver, but then we're gonna also create a law that says, legislation once again, that says, oh, we're not gonna confiscate these. These are not confiscatable. But you don't hear the gurus over the internet talk about the non-confiscatable. How many people tell you to hold gold and silver in your portfolio? See, we have these Bitcoin gurus now. They don't tell you to hold gold and silver. Ladies and gentlemen, all the successful investors we know right now have some level of allocation in hard, liquid gold and silver. Even if it's a savings, they're holding it. It's powerful to give away something that is a conductor of electricity. It is the conductor. Bitcoin's not a conductor, it's a platform on the internet. Money is a transaction. So now we get into the debt is not real anyways, right? So what are we going to say? Someone said they're about to buy more silver in the chat. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to type in where you're listening in live from or listening to replay from. Type in the city or the state. Uh, the debt's not real anyways. This is such a wool pulled over sheep's eyes. In the wake of a wealth transfer, in the wake of what would be considered a 1920, 1930, 100 years later, there was a cataclysmic event that has led to people wiping out their savings, people so-called needing stimulus check. People are saying that everyone needs a stimulus check. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're in a private environment, they're not allowed to give stimulus checks in the private environment. Why? Because they own nothing, control everything. They don't own a debt. Just like the government doesn't own the debt. Who owns the debt? The people. The people in office are there for periods of time. They're going to leave the office, and then they're going to leave the debt on who? The people. Appreciate Delaware for tuning in live, listening to replay. Shout out South Carolina, what is that? Charlotte, North Carolina for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Charlotte, North Carolina, Delaware. Everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. Oh, so, the government says, well, what difference does it make? The debt's not real for us anyways. Why? Because we're just officers. And we're doing a job, and that's it. So this clearly lets you know they don't know how to reduce a debt. They don't know how to create a surplus. They're going in deeper every month. Trillions. They said they're trying to pass another stimulus bill this year. They're trying to pass more stimulus into the market. Whether it's direct to the consumer or to the business, they are creating One of the greatest bubbles we've ever seen. When people finish spending their money and those jobs are not there because of technology, is the job real or being unemployed real? The debt's not real anyways though, because it's just on paper. It's zeros and ones and numbers, digits on the paper, right? So then we get these people that say, oh, my birth certificate is worth some money. When I was born, my birth certificate was worth some money. So if your birth certificate was worth some money, huh, why don't you go be like any other traditional company that's going to raise private equity, raise private money, and actually get it listed as a security on a stock exchange? Or why don't you use that birth certificate to raise funds? So this is what these doofuses reach out to the vault and say. Hey, Trust Christian, my birth certificate is worth $100 million. And so the government, I got to figure out a way to discharge debt. I got to acquire the debt. Oh, you do? In your personal name? Because at the vault, it's owned not to control everything. So you're going to get the debt in your personal name? Okay, so you get the debt in your personal name. And then you're going to so-called use the birth certificate to discharge it. Oh, we're going to address it. So they're going to discharge it. They don't know how to discharge it. They call in Trust Christian in the vault for it. We never advertise that we talk about that. We're aware of it. Appreciate West Palm Beach for tuning in live, listening to replay. Shout out to West Palm Beach, Florida for tuning in live, listening to replay. So my birth certificate is worth $100 million, Trust Christian, in the vault. You know, who do I go to? We tell them, the securities agent. Okay, do they come back and say I went to securities agent, I got my birth certificate listed, or I got my birth certificate to where we raised some private money. People gave me money for the birth certificate, which they didn't, because no one's going to give you money for your birth certificate, because it's just a piece of paper. It's a promissory note. And if you have nothing as a track record to show what you're going to do with the money, see, this is what we talk about at the vault. We talk about what are you going to do with the money? See, everybody wants to get rich, but they don't have nothing to spend the money on. Everybody wants to cry broke when they get money. Oh, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm going to hold on to it. Yeah, right. Why you think people got debt? Because they don't need money. They need debt. They get debt and then they can live their life. They don't want to get the real money. Right, Trust Christian in the vault? They don't want to get the real money. They want to get debt. Think about what people finance. They finance their life. They finance their education. They finance their car. They finance their house. They're going into debt. They getting the fake money to live the fake life. But what about the real money? What's the real money? Is it gold and silver? Is it hard tangible assets? Is it tradable commodities? Is it copper? Copper is just like Bitcoin. It's an asset. Do y'all go out and buy copper? How many people go out and buy copper and aluminum and platinum? It's in your cell phone. But I'm going to go get the Bitcoin ride because, it's going up. It's going to keep going up. Silver's been going up. Silver ain't went back to zero in 20 years. Silver ain't went to zero in 20 years. Gold ain't went to silver in 20 years. People don't know about holding assets. What they know is they know about holding debt. They're debt laden. They're debt ridden. They're letting a sin, an artificial sin, hold them back from greatness. There's no wealthy person that's in debt. Are you serious? For what? If they have the money, everything's owned in cash, and they don't. And what do they need debt for? They have so much money they could get debt just based off of how much money they have. So they're not using debt. Debt's for new businesses, acquisitions. It's for business ventures, not personal. See, it's business, not personal. So if you acquire debt, it's in a business. Why? Because if it's in a business, you can bankrupt it. How many people are willing to suffer a personal bankruptcy on their record? Not too many people willing to suffer a personal bankruptcy. Oh man, Trust Christian, why would I go ahead and get a bankruptcy on my record? That's going to show up on there for a long time. But then you got people that will literally raise a company from zero to $1 million and bankrupt it later on in period of years. Because why? It may not do well in periods of years. These are companies that, have you seen Blockbuster? Do you know what Blockbuster is? That was a multi-million-dollar company. Are they bankrupt? Clearly. Are the owners bankrupt? No. Because the debt's not real anyways, right? The debt's not real for a personal person, right? Trust Christian, see, this is what they come to the vault and they say, Trust Christian, I'm a natural man. I can't have a debt on me, Trust Christian. I can't have a debt on me. How can I have a debt on me? It's fake. It's not real anyways, right? The natural man. Well, somehow you gave what's called an unrestricted signature. See, when you come to the vault, you learn that if you want to be slick, you have to make sure that you sign with a restricted signature because all the greats know their signature has to be restricted. We told someone that earlier today. They're not in trustee training. They say, oh, well, it is a restricted signature. In what capacity are you doing business? That's how companies go bankrupt. In what capacity are you doing business? Because the debt is not real, anyways, for businesses. And that's why these companies have these huge valuations and they steal people's wealth. The company goes from $100 stock to a $300 stock. Then it goes like GameStop and goes right back down to 150 because the debt's not real anyways. They raise private money. Do you go see if a company raised money? That's raising debt. They have a debt to pay. Why do they need the money? When you raise money, you're raising money because you have a debt. Because you have something what? To pay for. So this is why when trustees, they come in to vote and they say, wow, I need to know what to do with the money. You got to invest it. Because if you take money, it's what? It's a profit. If you leave the money, it's reinvested. You can't tax it until it's a profit. It's what they call it, a capital gain, an appreciation on the asset. Not necessarily true. Why? Because if you buy an asset and it goes up in value, when do you make money? When you sell it. So they raise money and then they sell it because they're cashing out. See, this is what they didn't teach in public school. They taught the counterintuitive information. They taught you the information. They said, we're going to give you a word problem. We're going to give you all this SAT information. But guess what? 50% of the population, when they reach age of 65, they're going to need Social Security. They're going to need it. 50% of you all that are listening, one out of half of you all listening, have to make a decision. Are you going to be dependent upon Social Security? Or are you going to be able to provide for yourself financially? Are you going to be dependent on Social Security, the debt system? They say it's not real. You got politicians, you got people that say the Social Security system's not good. It's broken. We got to fix it. They're talking about getting rid of it. They're saying that it's not a good system anymore. It's not a good system. The politicians, not the people, the politicians. Appreciate Memphis, Tennessee for tuning in live, listening to the replay. Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to Memphis, Tennessee. The debt is not real anyways. Think about how they trick the population. They let you get debt, but the government's 20 trillion in debt. Name another country that's 20 trillion in debt. They're the leader of the free world, right? You're the leader of the free world and you got the most debt. Oh, you operating through what? Double bookkeeping, entry, ledgering. They're doing double bookkeeping, double entry bookkeeping. So they got a left and a right. They can hold a positive and a negative. They're doing accrual accounting. They're not doing cash method. See, when you file your taxes, you do cash method. The government, they do accrual. It's double bookkeeping, double entry bookkeeping. They don't have to report everything right away. Why do you think the stocks report their earnings a quarter late? Why do you think the government reports GDP a quarter late? Because they're not giving you real-time stats. So they could be off. Hey, our numbers were off. We couldn't have predicted this. Is this how the system looks? This is how the system looks. And it's only to trick the weak. See, the weak want to carry debt. The weak want to be in debt-laden situations where they're not able to leverage their debt into cash flow. So the debt's paying for itself. See, the debt-laden, the debt-ridden, they've been miseducated. They don't know what debt is. They don't know that debt is either good or bad. They just say the debt is not real anyways. So it doesn't matter. But are you using debt for your benefit? Why are you not trained to use debt for your benefit, for your cash flow, for your profit, for your lifestyle? But it makes so many people a slave. It makes so many people a slave. So hold on. You're not even educated to get debt, to be in debt, bad debt. So why would you expect to get an education to be in good debt and be able to profit off the debt? Doing private family banking. See, when people come into the vault, when they come to the workshop, they're going to hear private family banking conversation. That's what they're going to hear. Because that's what we talk about in the vault. That's what we talk about at the workshops in the private. Private family banking, we talk about debt. That can be good. Interest can be good. Usury can be good. It can be. Interest can be good. Do you pay yourself interest? Well, just Christian in Nevada, I really don't know about interest. How would I pay myself interest when I got to pay the other people interest? That means I'm paying double interest, right? That's private family banking for you, though. Trust Christian, is the vault, is the debt really not real? Is the government going to be able to rack up double the debt in shorter periods of time? Because think about it. They just passed a $2 billion bill for something that was supposed to last people up until what? Mid-year? The third quarter? What is $1,600? What's $2,000? Oh no, that's on top of unemployment, right? Right. Why do people want to work anymore? Just get unemployment, right? That's how we don't need to raise money. The government's doing that for us. So the debt's not real for us. Is the debt real for the government? We got Portland, Port Allen, Louisiana. Appreciate Port Allen, Louisiana. Never have heard of Port Allen, Louisiana, but somebody lives there, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever are riding through Port Allen, Louisiana, guard your grill, okay? Appreciate Port Allen, Louisiana for tuning in live, listening to replay. You all can Google that, see where it's niched at in the world. Such a unique place. Louisiana, tuning in live, listening to replay. Shout out to Louisiana. The debt is not real anyways. So we're in the age where paper debt it's not real, right? Right. But are you educated to utilize it for business purposes? See, when you come into the vault, you learn that debt should be for business purposes. It's the vehicle that the company owns that you're driving around in, because the company, LLC, can't drive the car. It can't live in the office, home, or commercial. We know people that have property development companies that literally their office is a house and they have multiple rooms, rooms in there for offices inside of there for people that work for the company. The debt is not real anyways, though. So how do you take advantage of that? People say, "Oh, I don't got the education, Trust Christian. I went to public school. I went to college. They didn't give me this education. I got a communications degree. I got a marketing degree." Trust Christian, guess what? I got a business degree. Hold on, Trust Christian. It's a few of us out here. We got business management degrees. We got MBAs, Trust Christian. We never learned how to use debt for ourselves. We $60,000 in debt. We $80,000 in debt. We $100,000 in debt. We in debt. We got an education. We got our masters. We working for the government. We got a master's. We may not be working. We on unemployment. We can't get a job in the area we in right now. You got a master's degree and you won't go to another country and dominate? You got a master's degree in business in the United States from the United States College, from an accredited United States college, and you won't go to another country and dominate? But these other cultures, they're looking to get in the United States to get an American degree and go back to their country and dominate. But the debt's not real anyways. Hold on. Y'all want us to do that episode where the government doesn't even want you to make over $400,000 because if you do, they're going to tax you more? So hold on. The philosophy is called tax the rich, right? Right. But then hold on. How are the poor living if they're not rich? They're living off debt. The rich aren't living off debt. They got the money. Do they live off good debt? Yes. Do they live off bad debt? No. The debt's not real anyways. To poor people. To rich people, it's very real. They utilize it in private family banking. They're your lenders. They're giving the bank money to lend out their money. because they got so much money. But hold on, the government's taxing the rich, right? But they're lending out money to the poor. So the debt's not real, anyways, because the rich are giving to the poor, and the poor are giving it right back to the rich, because they're buying. They're doing. The poor are not entrepreneurs and investors. They're employees. They're consumers. They're paying for the wealthy's lifestyle. They're consuming the WAP. They're consuming the information. They're consuming the data. They're consuming because they're consumers. They're going into debt. They're consuming their houses. They're consuming their cars. They're consumers. They're consuming their clothing through credit cards. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think bank stocks went down over the past year? Have you went and looked at bank stocks? You can go look at bank stocks. Look at bank stocks literally from last year this time, where we're in March. They literally went up from March at this point. And once they got to June, for sure they were going up. Because what? People were using, they were swiping the swipers. They were swiping the swipers. They were swiping the credit card. They were hitting the debit button because they were going in further debt. So they needed the government to pass another debt stimulus bill, calling it stimmy. They gotta coax their sin with a nickname. It's called a stimmy. Now we know the vault listeners, they about their money. See, the vault listeners, shout out to the vault listeners. Everybody that listens to the vault. See, shout out to the vault listeners. They didn't get the stimmy check. They were entrepreneurs. They were investing in themselves. Their private education. You guys want to come to the workshop? It's Christian at trustchristian.com. Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to reach out. People be thinking that we don't sell out workshops. I don't know how people think that we don't sell out workshops. We sell out workshops all the time. And you guys know with the COVID stipulations, people want to keep their social distancing, and the room's still going to be packed. Bottom line. Obviously, it's going to be packed if we got social distancing and we're still doing people. The rooms have always been limited. You can't have any room that's just unlimited. That sounds weird. But yes, the tickets are pre-sales. They're pre-sales only, and that's what it's always been. And it's selling out all the time. It's always sold out. It's never gonna not sell out. It's the event is for trustees. When we talk about it on the podcast and the open platform, this is this is for people to know. Hey, look, our mentors had an open platform too. So hey, if you want to sit in a room and get information that you can't implement, sounds good. But if you want to be able to get an education and continue the education, even if you're in trusteeship, perfectly fine. The room is trustee training for trustees, and inside of that environment, we have asset managers, we have other people that's financial planners. Obviously, Trust Christian is not that. Trust Christian, we deal with business management, trust consulting, things of that nature. Whereas when we come into a private environment, it's more of an open platform where people, you want to be able to shake hands with a financial planner that's in a private. You want to shake hands with a private banker, ladies and gentlemen. You want to shake hands with insurance people that can handle the private family banking. You want to shake hands with accountants. You want to shake hands with attorneys. We have those people. We had trustees go through trustee training and they in law school. But people want to ask, what is the vault doing? Somebody asked, is it only one training this year? No, it's actually, we do trainings quarterly. So it is something for trustees to continue their education. You got to do things quarterly because the families have a need for it. We only do it because the families need it. You do it only 4 times a year. Families can fly in and they can do, they can connect for 4 times a year. That's just the bottom line. That is quarterly. Some people come to, all of them. Some people come to ones that they can make it to. But it's good to have it quarterly. It gives enough time to get through the training cycles that we have. 12 weeks is pretty long, anyways. It's 3 months. It's like any other traditional company with a 3 month period where they kind of go and they do the reset and they look at what are people doing, what are people not doing. It's an inventory check, and but it's not even an inventory check for the trustee training workshop. This is the Super Bowl of the quarter. That's all it is. We can't have one Super Bowl a year. We got to have 4 Super Bowls a year at the vault. We have to put up multiple rings every single year because at the end of the day, there are multiple families that are in that position. They want to connect with each other. People in trust deal with people in trust. Trustees know this. So, when trustees are in the room together, they always want to make it a point to connect with each other. So it is a private environment. Obviously, we're not out here advertising it like you got to come. It's not a got to. It's something that, once again, is for the trustees. But we do open it up to the public platform to come into a private setting and see what private is and learn what privacy is. And, that's really what it's about. It's an education. So we're really excited about the workshop coming up on May 1st. We'll say that it is going to be, we'll say it's going to be in Atlanta, so people can say, hey, look, I can game plan for Atlanta, whether you're going to be close or far or whatever. We are going to say this in Atlanta, but we're not going to say the exact location until, you get over, you get the invoice taken care of, and you move forward from there. And that's the way it's always been. It's a private environment. Location is disclosed to people when they take care of their end of the deal, because we look forward to serving people. That's just bottom line. That's why we open it up to the public. Otherwise, we will literally just have trustees in the private sector, and they would just have private workshops, and it really wouldn't be much to talk about it as far as what we're doing there. But nevertheless, the trustees are still they're there for themselves. They're there to connect. They're there to connect and learn with other trustees as well. So it's always good because we have a really healthy rotation. Obviously, having people go through the program for years now, people have really developed themselves over an extended period of time. People have really developed themselves. They develop their lifestyle. They develop their businesses. They develop their families, and that's really exciting. It does take some time to really get in the system and get going. But it's like college, ladies and gentlemen. We don't overpromise and underdeliver. It is like college. It's a continuing education course. It's not something that you have to unenroll. You can continue going to the workshops. You can continue going through the educational class, because why? It's an educational class. It's a continuing education class, and it's only going to get better. It's always made it a point to get better, whether it's finding better resources to give to our trustees, because you have to provide an environment, a community of trustees, and this is in all environments with high net worth investors, high net worth, ultra high net worth investors, private equity, venture capitals, angel investors. Everybody's doing the same exact thing. You're getting in a room. You got to pay to play. We're in a private environment. People are connecting with each other, and we're hearing from different hodgepodge of different professionals. Once again, whether people have licenses and things of that nature, people that have track record, those things matter in business, and we have great relationships. We're always excited about featuring those people in the private. We do our best to branch out and have other people featured at the vault, because obviously we know that people, they want to connect. Specifically in the private, but we also know people in the public want to connect with people in the private. They really want to know what's going on before they, people say they like try to dip their toe in, and so they can get their feet wet. They don't want to just jump straight in. Where some people contact the vault after one episode, some people twiddling their thumbs. Some people contacted the vault, got started in trustee training off one episode. That's a fact. We got people under 30 getting in the vault. That's a fact. We got women get in the vault. That's a fact. We got men get in. That's a fact. We got families that sit on the phone, husband and wives, husband and wives, husband, wife, and children. We got husband, wife, and children sit on the phone and listen to trustee training on Sundays. We got families that go do consultations together. Families, would they have a 6-year-old? They created a cartoon so their children could understand what trusteeship is. We'll repeat it again for the ones that are dragging their feet, wonder how long is this great diamond cut opportunity going to be around? Oh, I can go anywhere I want to go. Yeah, sure you can. We do the training here. We're not just selling you a trust. It's trustee training. So for all the ones that want to say, oh, we copy Trust Christian in the Vault, we mimic Trust Christian in the Vault, welcome to the vault.com. We mimicked it. Oh yeah. We've been doing trustee training since day one. Shout out to New Jersey for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to type into the chat where you tune in live, listening to replay. Shout out to Jersey. The debt's not real anyways. You got these people selling you UCC packages, calling it a debt forgiveness package. They selling y'all CPN numbers. Y'all think we don't know about this dark information that keeps you broke, that keeps you in poverty? How many of them saying, oh yeah, we doing contracts and deals for $150,000? We got people getting on the phone. We got people networking privately in our private environment because they're not putting together a private community like Trust Christian in the Vault when we do the private workshops. They're not doing private workshops, ladies and gentlemen. Why? You ready for this term? They're broke. The gurus are stealing money from the people. It's called personal development. You can't measure that. Hey, look, we're going to sell you a package, right? We're going to sell you a package, but you still in debt. Months later, years later. Y'all think we didn't invest in these fugazis? But people still looking for the watering well of fake financial freedom instead of learning that it's going to take work. We are going to have to work to be financially independent. We're going to have to study. We're going to have some sleepless nights. You think Elon Musk is rich because he didn't have a sleepless night? You think Bill Gates is rich because he didn't have a sleepless night? You think Damon John is rich because he didn't have a sleepless night? You think Steve Harvey is rich because he didn't have a sleepless night? You think Beyonce is rich because she didn't have a sleepless night? They had some sleepless nights. Are you quivering when you got to have a sleepless night to get this money instead of getting in debt and saying the debt is not real anyways? Yeah, the debt's not real anyways. We gonna sell you a UCC packet for 3,000, 5,000, 8,000. Y'all think we ain't heard 8,000? We done heard 20,000. You think they ain't got a couple fools for $20,000 and they ain't called the vault? But then when we tell them over here what we working with, oh man, I got burnt a few times through the internet, Trust Christian. I've been burnt before through the internet. I've been burnt before through the internet with these UCC packages and the internet, SPC universe shitty. Y'all think we don't know about this? We gonna sell y'all all these different packages. Talking about no social, but they ain't telling you about group economics with trusteeship. Doing business, not doing personal. Are they encouraging you and pushing you to own a business? To push you in a position where you're the manager of a business? No. Why? Because they don't want to tell you about the good debt because you're competition. See, in the private sector, competition, that's sin. You didn't know that? Just like debt is a sin, debt is a sin in the private, so is competition. Why you think no one else is doing trustee training? Because they got competition. But see, when you got a foolproof plan on what it's meant to do, it's meant to build trust. So it's gonna work. Because it's built on a solid foundation. That's why we in a foundation. Oh, Trust Christian, it makes a lot of sense. But are you investing? Are you giving up your last like it was your first? You know how they say in the Bible you're supposed to give up your first fruits? Who you supposed to give up your first fruits? To the kingdom, right? You're supposed to give it up to your education. How you going to get the spiritual information? How you going to get the education if you ain't investing? If you ain't giving back? Investing is giving back. That's why you can't get taxed on it. Because you're giving back. But when you take, you get taxed, right? Profit gets you taxed, right? We sitting on the line the other day. People sitting on the line. They don't even want to tell you that they don't know that you don't get taxed on a loan. You think we don't know that? We know people in the public think you get taxed on a loan. So when you get a debt, they think you have to pay taxes on it. That's why they're afraid to get good debt. They don't want to go out and get a house for a rental property and invest. Why? Because they don't know how to handle good debt, but they rather take on bad debt. They don't want their first property to be an investment. They want it to be a taking position, a position where you got to pay taxes on it, right? Right. You got to pay property taxes on the property that you take. Because you own it. But when you own nothing, control everything, who pays the taxes? That's a business expense. When you go look at your tax form, it says taxes is a business expense. How many of your gurus told you that? How many of your accountants told you that? Did your accountant tell you that your taxes is a business expense? It's on the daggone tax form. Did your accountant tell you that? Hold on, no, they didn't tell me that, Trust Christian. What you mean? I'm getting all this new information. But the debt's not real. Because your accountant didn't tell you that, right? The lawyer that's going to help you go through bankruptcy, that's going to put you in chapter 7, instead of putting you in 13, they put you in 7. So they do a reorganization where you still got to pay down something. They don't put it where, oh, you can't pay it all back. You can't pay it all back, Trust Christian. I can't pay it all back. I thought that's what I was doing. Hold on. It's multiple bankruptcies. They got 7, 11, and 13. Which one is for me? The person. And which one's for the corporations? Oh, okay, Trust Christian. The debt's not real anyways, right? If I could file bankruptcy, right? That's a common practice of the day, baby. That's a common practice of the day, right? If the debt's not real, it's common practice of the day. But how many public people are scared to file bankruptcy? Can you get rid of a student loan? So hold on. The education that you were supposed to use to invest in yourself, hold on. You use OPM to pay for your education. So why you got to pay it back? You got to pay it back with interest? That's a tax. You don't have to pay back the government with interest. How they making money if they giving you a loan? It can't be a loan unless they making you pay interest. It's not a loan unless you paying back interest. That's the way the rules of what they got, creditor and debtor laws. Did you know that? Did you not know that they call it fair lending and credit practices? You have to have interest on it to make it a debt. I mean, excuse me. You have to have an interest payment on it to make it a loan. Real deal financial education. Not this. We just trying to tell you to sit here and have a cup of coffee with us and talk about what's on the public media. We know what's on the public media. We share with trustees in the private, these people that are passing away, that have their estates in a proper position, or they do or they don't. And we talk about that in the private. So we do talk about some public stuff. But when it comes down to it, when you have the public that says debt is okay and they're saying that the debt is not real anyways, then you know what society you're living in. You're living in the public side. See, the private side, we have to pay our debts. See, debts aren't forgiven. In the private sector, it's quid pro quo. It's something for something, not something for nothing. Did you hear that? See, in the private, it's quid pro quo. So don't contact the vault asking, do we accept Bitcoin? It's so funny. We reached out to someone though. We said, look, because they're like they have actually quite a bit of crypto. They're actually really very financially well off through crypto. We said, you know, for trustee training, you could do crypto. You know, you in particular, you know how to hold it in the right position. See, they know how to hold it in the right position. See, they're international. They know how to hold the crypto international. They know how to have property international. They know how to utilize it to where they have foreign bank accounts, where they know how to operate in different jurisdictions with the crypto. That's why we told them it was okay for them, not for the regular Joe Schmo. Oh, I'm trying to do trustee training through the crypto trust Christian. We're not missing anything. Did you know you could pay in gold? How many people offer gold and silver? When will we ever turn down gold and silver for trustee training? Are you serious? This is the vault. Trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. Gold and silver is actually not taxable. Why? Is it paper money? It's an appreciating asset. See, it's an asset. It's real money. What if you gave the Vault and Trust Christian a piece of art worth $20,000? You think we wouldn't accept it? It's worth 20,000 before we get it. As soon as we get it, it's going to continue to go up. You think we wouldn't accept a vehicle that's worth $60,000, $100,000? Quid pro quo. Something for something, not something for nothing. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. This is the Vault celebratory episode 300. This is the 300th episode. In 3 years, we've been knocking them out. That's almost why we've been doing one every day. And we've been working that hard at the Vault. We doing another workshop May 1st. We came back out. We're getting ready to go post-COVID. We're going to go into a post-COVID Terry for the rest of the year. You saw what the stock market did. The stock market's at all-time highs. And we're going to run it up this year, all-time highs. We had an all-time high last year in the pandemic. And what do you think we're going to do this year? We had mentors said, cancel the year, Trust Christian. We're in March. Cancel the year. We're in April. Cancel the year. Everything shut down. And where did we go? As soon as January came around this year, we were right out the gate. February, right out the gate. And we're in March. And we're doing a workshop for the people that are in trustee training. And then we're going to continue doing it. And we need to continue to step our game up and get in exotic destinations to make these trustees travel to get in exotic destinations and get over there with some real private foreign banking investment managers. So you can go to Switzerland and sit there with the Swiss private bankers. So we can sit with the American banks that are international, that are private. That's what we're working on at the Vault. Private international bank accounts. Not sitting in the States over here where they're trying to have all of these SARs on you because of how you move in business. You're dealing with these small time banks. So the debt's not real. Did the banks get bailed out? Yeah, the debt's not real. The government, who bailed out the banks? The government. The debt's not real. Anyways, the debt's not real. Think about the philosophy clash where the private says you have to have quid pro quo, fair business practices, fair lending and credit practices. What happened to the market when they were doing those unfair lending credit practices? Then they say, oh, it was the worst stock market crash. It was worse than the Great Depression. It was a depression. It wasn't a depression. Do you know how long the Great Depression lasted, ladies and gentlemen? The real Great Depression, not the 2019, the 2008, 2007 wealth transfer, where people took their money out of houses because they were at an all-time high. And where you think houses are at right now? If the stock market's at an all-time high, where are houses at? People are moving and the houses are still high. They're leaving California. They're leaving New York. They're leaving northern states. They're going to southeast states right now. They want to work out. They want to be able to go out if it's another pandemic in 5 years. They're preparing for it. If it's another pandemic and we can't go to facilities, we want to be able to go outside and enjoy fresh air and walk around. People that have money, they'll move. The ones that don't, they'll stay for the next one and be locked in the house in New York and have the highest COVID count when they're the ones locked in the house because they can't do anything. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Episode 300, The Vault. The Vault. The debt is not real anyways. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free. We're coming up on the workshop May 1st. They've always sold out. We're going to keep selling out. Cornell, the trustee trader, he's actually going to do he's actually doing a webinar at the end of this month. What is this, March 28th? So that's 10 days from now, March 28th. He's going to be doing a workshop for traders. So, people come to the vault, oh man, I need asset protection. But then when they get in, they get stuck because they working a job. And then when it comes to them learning something, everybody wants to do a job part-time. What happened when you learn how to trade full-time and you making your full-time money when you're trading? It's interesting nowadays. How many people want to be financially independent, but they don't want to learn a trade? They don't want to learn a trade. They don't want to learn a skill. Trading is a skill. You got to get skills. Skills pay the bills. Go to the vault. Skills pay bills. The vault episode. We don't know the number. Skills pay bills. That's what pays bills, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have skills. Are your skills being outdated because of technology? Think about it. Your skill to know how to read a map might be null and void right now. Do you know how to read a map? Do you know latitude and longitude? How many people can read a map? We're just looking at it. Hey, you don't need to. You got Google. You got the maps. Somebody said, what is the website? Our website's under construction. We haven't needed a website in a while. Feel free to reach out, Christian@trustchristian.com, or listen to the episodes. Or if we created a new website, all it would have was all the episodes on it, and that's it. We're not even, we've thought about putting out trustees testimonials, and we're not going to do that because we protect their privacy. Trustees, people contact the vault for privacy. That's why it's no need to continue putting up wwws. We're setting the example for our trustees. Private is private, public is public. We're having a public conversation. This is a conversation we will have in any public platform, which is talking about debt. We're talking about the debt is not real anyways. Trustee Training is the private sector. Christian at trustchristian.com. People got to get vetted. Our mentors ain't working with everybody, and neither is the vault. We had to tell some trustees the other day, we fired trustees. How you gonna come through the program and think you're gonna abuse the program? We gotta fire trustees. It's trustee training, but you gotta fire trustees. This is business, it ain't personal. You gotta protect your family. You gotta protect your estate. You gotta protect your vision. You gotta protect your dreams. That's asset protection. You gotta fire people if they ain't doing their job. Christian at trustchristian.com. But the program is definitely about families, trusteeship. Once again, we ain't gonna never stop saying appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Why? Because we know the people that's tuning in live, they instantly got the notification. And everybody that listens in the replay up until this point, we always gonna express that to you. Even if you skip it and you go ahead, bam, we gonna let you know we appreciate you again. Because, once again, we've had people, come out of the public and come into the private for many years now. And the community is just continuously growing, and we're really excited about the direction that it's going in. And that's why we're doing a workshop, and that's why it's going to sell out, and that's why we're going to continue doing episodes in the public. Because the trustees listen, the trustees appreciate it, the trustees want to connect. Shout out to all the trustees that have went through the program. Shout out to all the trustees that are listening in, that are going through the program right now, that still listen through the program while they're going through the trustee training, because they understand how important it is to be on time. We're in real time information. You getting fed a lot of lies in the public right now. You getting fed a lot of lies. Oh, Kanye's the richest black man in America. Go Google who Robert Smith is. Let's Google who Robert Smith is, since they want to promote this BS in the public so they can promote you to think that, oh, well, somebody that has a company that's made out of it. First of all, if he has a company, it's debt. That's all these companies on the stock market. They're held in debt. So he's holding $6 billion in debt, please? Let's be clear. I don't mind the market cap valuation, $6 billion. If you're selling $6 billion, if they have to use $6 billion to make $1 billion worth of shoes, so be it. Let's go see how much Robert Smith is. This the capital. A man that runs a private equity firm. It says his net worth is $5 billion, and he's 58 years old. But once again, these numbers are old. They're on the internet. And once again, to go look at what the company's worth. The company. We talking companies, right? Huh? Ain't you talking companies? But we got to sit here and be fed this BS. Oh, he's the richest black man reported today. Oh, really? But you didn't know who Robert Smith reported right now with $6 billion sitting on his name on Forbes as the 125th richest person on Forbes. Oh, really? Huh? Right. Give me a break. Ladies and gentlemen, of course you got to get out the public. You're being fed lies. You're being fed the rhetoric. You're being fed the propaganda. How do you know the private from the public when all you're getting is the public information? We appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening in the replay. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live. That's how we always do it. Christian at trustchristian.com. The debt is not real anyways. Make it a point to put yourself in a position. We're winning. We're looking forward to hearing everybody else winning this year. Peace.